Hey, welcome into this edition of the GASO cast, episode 5. Episode 13, season 5. New rankings 2027 are dropping on Friday. We have a lot to talk about today. And of course, this is presented by Ballogy. Before we jump in, though, let's talk a little housekeeping. As I mentioned, the 2027 rankings, they will be dropping on Friday on the GASO Fast Break. So if you are not a subscriber, you will not be getting those. It's a great time to be a subscriber. We got TABC action coming. We got rankings. We had rankings last week or 2 weeks ago. We have our TABC preview next week. So that will be a lot of fun. It's GASO week. Our ATX Round Rock is going to be electric, and we can't wait for it. And then our coverage of TABC is the best around. So make sure you're following us. We have a lot to say about TABC. We're going to have a giant mega podcast next week about it. And then all the stuff that we're doing for college coaches. College coaches, slide in the DMs and let's talk if you need some help covering the state in one weekend. So let's just get right to it. What's on your mind? Blue?
A lot of things. It's just been a wacky week for me. And so having to, do the rankings, which can very easily change in 10 days from now. That's one thing. I think what else is on my mind is having to do Central Texas, the CTX, which looks great to be a part of for GASO, and then having to turn around that Monday, get prepared with our media stuff, get prepared with, how we're going to attack and cover TABC. That is just a daunting task. I mean, there's a lot to cover, there's a lot to do, and this is our biggest month of the year, and it doesn't slow down.
Yeah, and we're already full for June 27 to 29. Is that correct? Did I hear that this morning correctly?
I'm trying to work on some space here, opening up some space. I talked to another big hitter.
For the people, get it done, baby.
So yeah, it's gonna be loaded.
Yeah. We can't wait. Have we dropped the team list to that, or did we do that yesterday?
No. We're not doing that yet. We need. There's a lot of prep work that needs to be done logistically, so we can drop that list.
All right, so we'll leave you in the dark, but it's going to be.
Hey, we don't want to drop that list and overshadow TABC in the same week. That would be hard. That's how good that list is.
It might be a little too much heat.
Yeah. Some would say it would cause a kerfuffle. I don't know. Maybe. Mike, what's on your mind, man?
Yeah, going into TABC, forget the shoe platforms you play on. Who cares what circuit you're on? It doesn't matter. It's a live period. It's a live period for Texas. Straight up. It doesn't matter if you're independent. It doesn't matter what's going on. If you're Texas, you're going to have every chance to make your noise. So just preparing your mindset, not to go in there and do too much. Just go in there and play the best basketball you can play. And it's just an opportunity. And I love it because with so much division in grassroots basketball, it's one weekend where it's just Texas, and we don't get this very often. So everybody gets an opportunity, and I'm really excited to see the kids that will take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, it's full united front. It's really cool to see how everybody comes together and just pushes the narrative of Texas. That's really fun. Lyndon?
Yeah, going off the back of that, I mean, keeping up with Texas kids on what jerseys they're going to be wearing during TABC. It's been a lot. I mean, the Texas high school transfer portal is open, and it's always interesting to see because a lot of times the first time you see a guy with his new digs is at TABC in the summer, playing with new teammates, and it's something that I always try to keep a tracker on and seeing like who gets a boost from going to a new spot and whose momentum is maybe stymied a little bit by the unknown and the comes with going to a new school, playing with new teammates in a new program, Yeah.
And I'll say this really quick. Like, if you're still trying to figure out like who you're playing with on TABC, don't dilly dally. Like, do not dilly dally in this situation because it's the most important weekend for a lot of kids, and you need to make sure on a roster. So, I mean, we've heard a lot of nightmare stories behind the scenes of, I don't know where I'm playing. Oh, I'm transferred to a school that's not in TABC. I mean, you got to be there. I know everybody's situation is different, but do your best to be at this event and play.
Yeah, that rolls right into my point. What's on my mind is if you're playing for a different team, DM one of us to let us know. Me and Lyndon really tomorrow are building the TABC cheat sheet for college coaches. And this is one of the crown jewels of what we do for the players in Texas. I get texts that literally say, "Are you making this again?" Like that's how they start it. And I know what they're referring to. And it covers just about every kid in the state and can, you know, give coaches an easy way to build a schedule for such an overwhelming event. And just a reminder, college coaches go see players, not courts. And they need to know where the players are going to be, and that's what we're going to provide them. And we're really, really, really excited for that. Let's hop into our 2027 rankings. A riser in the ranking. Who is my guy? Who is the guy you were defending to the hilt? Blue, I'm going to pass it to you.
Brian Robinson from 3D Empire, Pro 16, 16U, Frisco Lone Star. You're talking about a two-way athlete here, but they're becoming more frequent, I feel like, than in years past. And here's another one of those players that doesn't commit full-time to the basketball court. But when he steps out onto that floor, he becomes one of the best prospects out there. I mean, the way he can rise up, I was looking at his form, coming off the dribble to score. He's a good rebounder. He's going to get out and run. There's a lot of things that you watch him play and you go, okay, if he was committed full time to the basketball court, how good could he be? And we've seen that before in the 3D Empire program. And then because he gets a lot of freedom, but then you scroll through his Twitter and there's Nebraska offers and all of Big Ten, SEC. So he's going to have some options here, and I think that's great for anybody when you can be a dual sport athlete. But I think he's a guy that probably came up about 80 something spots or something like that because of his play and the development of how quickly that he was able to adjust from the transition, the football season to the basketball season to spring, the spring basketball game, and then leading into the summer. I think that he has a lot of momentum. I'm ready to see him again during the TABC, and then again at the pre-live that we'll have at the end of June. So there's a lot of momentum for Bryant, and I think he's proven it and has earned it. And I think there's still upside and still a high ceiling for him as we move forward and as things kind of progress in his world.
Well said. I'm going to hop in here and go with Bryson McManigal. Rowlett, he plays for Triumph. He has size, length, some scoring ability, and I've seen him be super efficient on multiple occasions this spring and summer. So he's getting a well-deserved debut in our rankings. If you want to see where he landed, make sure you go and sign up and subscribe. I'm pulling the old Lyndon. Yep. You got to drop it now, Lyndon. Who's it for you?
Look, just straight up, I'm always going to be very bullish about bigs who can do a little bit of everything, but also have a very clear definition for what they will be at the next level. And that's why I think David Ballarain's a no-brainer, and that's why I fought so hard to get him inside the top 5 in this edition of the rankings, because I just think that he's too good to miss on. Every Division I coach from whether you're the top of the top to somewhere local, you need to get your eyes on this kid during TABC. And he's going to be one of those that we kind of referenced earlier with a new home, leaves Hallsville, goes to Dynamic Prep, and we're going to see what that looks like with the talent they have. And if you want to see where he lands inside the top 5, check out the newsletter on Friday. But you can also, and when you're at TABC, see him with another teammate of his that Michael's about to talk about.
Nice transition.
Yeah, for me, decent. Avery Hudson of Drive Nation and another Dynamic Prep player. When you move into Texas, we get alerted of that, and it's kind of a slow burn. We don't want to get too high or too low on a kid. We want to sit there and watch, and he moves into a Dynamic Prep situation to where they were loaded. They finished as the number 2 team in the country last year. So talking to that staff, he may have not had the 20 or 30 minutes per game, but the way they were talking about how reliable he was, you could see the trajectory start to build and build. And now he goes over to that Drive Nation 16U team along with, once again, killers on that team. And he continues to carve out a bigger and bigger role. He shoots it well. And then he has one of the most viral dunks of the year in the EYBL. I'm sure you've all seen it. So his athleticism's there. It's just one of those prospects that I feel like he's always had the confidence, and now he's continued to. And you can't fake a role at a school like Dynamic or a team like Drive Nation, because there's so many dudes. So he's for real, and he continues to climb up. And I don't think he's done climbing in these rankings by any means. But he was a guy right away that I wanted to get on our docket to discuss when we were talking about movers and shakers in this class.
And this isn't out of left field. Like, we saw him have some moments against Link last year. We saw him have some moments in some really, really big games.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to see that this, like you said, it's not fake. Like, if you're doing it at that high of a level against those kids consistently, like, you're something really, really special. Enjoy those egg bites, bro. A quick message from our sponsor at Ballogy. Ballogy and GASO are launching a 10K shot club. It was launched he's back. It was launched last week. Starting June 1st, you can track your shots using Ballogy's AI Vision technology. Hit 1,000 in a week and get featured by GASO and the GASO Fast Break. All you have to do is download the Ballogy app, create a free profile, use the access code rXBxTNpp, and then join the GASO 10K Shot Club group, and then start tracking. Simple as that. Anybody can work. This is your chance. Let's see who really wants it.
We're starting to see players starting to get busy in the gym. So we love it.
We care about the development stuff, man. Like, seriously, get better. Just get better. Do it in silence. That's the best way to do it. And your play on the court will show. Michael, I love this segment. I was tripping.
Do you want me to introduce it?
You do.
Because when I'm typing it, I didn't even think about you. Like, but actually,
I was tripping. I was.
Yeah, basically the segments, like when we go into these rankings meetings, we'll start to see numbers next to names or no numbers next to names. And right away, we'll start to argue that, but at the same time, it's internal on our side. Like, let's take personal, not blame, but I was tripping is basically a segment that's like, I should have spoke up last time because this kid should have been ranked higher or should have been ranked. So yeah, basically it's just like that. We'll take, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say blame.
Accountability.
Accountability. Accountability is a lot of syllables. I don't keep
We were
those
flummoxed.
around.
We just didn't know what was going.
Maybe you were a lollygagger at the time and you couldn't figure it out. I don't know.
All right, so I'm not gonna start this because I'm very rarely tripping. But Blue, you were tripping on this kid. Who was it?
Richard Groff of San Antonio Davenport. Like, I'm looking around going, Lyndon, let's get this kid in. And so, because he was unranked. And so it goes back to right place, right time over at Brian at the Legends Complex a couple weeks ago. And then just, 6'8" guy's going to catch your eye pretty quickly. But the way that he was moving, going off baseline to go finish, he just checked a lot of boxes. Just in a brief period of a 10-minute time, I think we can all agree, like, oh, that's a guy that we're tripping on because he needed to be in the rankings. He needed to get his due. And I mean, I think he's right around the 100 area, which there's room for him to grow. There's more time for us to watch him. There's more, obviously skill work and development that needs to be done on the court. But overall, there's a lot of check boxes that were marked. And so really like him. And I like him as a prospect moving forward and with some, with a guy that has ability to go higher.
Let me step in. I need to step in.
You go.
I have
similar guys.
I have egg bites about to be done in the oven, so I have to get this done for a second.
Okay.
Marine Fadika, TMA NXT Pro 16U. I mean, when I say I was tripping, he wasn't ranked, so yeah, I mean, we're tripping. And then, like, I'll pull the quote from Happy Gilmore when they're in the nursing home, when the lady's like, my fingers hurt. That's how I felt after our 2 cities, 1 GASO when I was typing in the newsletter over and over about this kid. So I was so loud about his performance. And now when we're going through these rankings, like, dang, he wasn't even ranked. And now he's getting a shot at Katie Jordan where they lose a ton, but he's going to be well in the rotation. And I'm excited to see what he does at TABC. But yeah, my bad, boy. I was tripping.
I'm going to go with Jeremiah Grigsby. And I think this kind of falls on me and Lyndon's shoulders a little bit because we didn't even know about the kid. Like, period in the story. I didn't know who he was until after the rankings were released. Then I went and watched him and I was like, oh yeah, yeah, this kid deserves to be in the rankings. And I think he ended up somewhere in the 50s or 60s right now. Really talented, long, lengthy scorer. Just scratching the surface of what he could be. Like, it sucks when you miss on a kid like that because he's so talented, so good, and has a real chance to become something really special. Lyndon?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Caden Easton out of Dallas Carter. When I saw him back in the fall, he was the slim 6'4", can play any of the forward spots. But I'm kind of kicking myself for not seeing the path forward because now, after a year in the weight room and playing with Carter, he looks like your prototypical 6'6", defend everything, Swiss Army knife wing, can shoot it, can get to the rim. Excellent defender. And I just think that his ceiling should have been something that I accounted for much earlier in his development. But he's getting a pretty nice jump in the rankings this time around.
Love it. Moving into a little bit of TABC talk before we get to Austin. But who's a prospect that could be a huge noisemaker? Kind of give us a taste for what we're going to be talking about next week. But who's a guy who may blow up that if a college coach is watching right now, hey, circle this guy, go check him out. Who's that guy for you, Blue?
Oh, it's Miller Mask. I mean, Richardson, Lake Highlands plays for Pro Skills Elite 16U. You got to hear me out here. Like, I think that the makeup and the projection is way higher than what he's going to be ranked right now. He hasn't been on a varsity floor. I think we could say that about a few people maybe here or there, but I know the backstory of Miller and that he's going to play a role this year with Lake Highlands. At 6'8", 6'9", he can stretch the floor. He runs. He jumps. He rebounds. Like there's a lot that translate to the higher levels of basketball in a few years of what he does right now. And so there's a fine line here. I told y'all this weeks ago. I'm telling high majors to go watch him. I'm telling mids to go watch him. I think that not to put pressure on the kid, but this is what you want, right? You want to be in the pressure cooker a little bit if you're his age and to go out there and perform. He's got to learn a lot of stuff, I think, pretty quickly here over the next few weeks as we get closer. But Joe Duffield, the head coach at Lake Highlands, is going to put him in the right situations. He's going to coach him. He's going to be prepared for that TABC weekend. And just because he might not be ranked as high as some of the other ones, even though I'm speaking so highly of him, that doesn't matter right now. What matters most is get the eyeballs on him now and go, yeah, Blue, you're right. We're excited. We're going to keep watching. Or no, he doesn't have it. That's fine. I can go either way with it, and we'll learn more as we continue to go down this road with someone like him that is going to be a varsity player.
I want to interject real quick. You find guys like this all the time. Like, this is your thing, Blue. Like, you've seen this story play out. Kind of expand on that, how this looks for a big man.
For him, I think that part of it is, yes, the size, right? The 6'8", 6'9". But when you see a player that is developing at their own pace and not being forced to do it, maybe I'm forcing him a little bit to do it, but in just the natural feel, there's so much that goes into it. Like we've talked about others off camera of like, some guys have really strong bulk and that they're able to push people out of the way. And I'll talk about one of those guys coming up. But for Miller, I mean, when you have the hands and the footwork for a big, and Lyndon can agree with this, I think that's key, because if you can't walk and chew gum at the same time, you're a long ways away. The coordination, you're in trouble. But for someone like him that is showing signs of being that next top tier, and that's in my opinion, you look at the hands of the footwork, the ability to step out and hit knockdown shots. I think you have to look at the complete athlete here of what his makeup is and how he will fit into a system. And also you look at him and how much he has to fight in playing with a bunch of guards right now with that Pro Skills Elite. Hey, he's got to fight for a loose ball just so we can get a point. He's got to pop out a little bit more often than what he should. But when you look at him, I think coming up with Joe Duffield at Lake Highlands, what's going to happen is there's going to be more natural feel of, hey, this is what you're good at. You're going to pop here. You're going to pop out over here. We're going to run a play. We get you into some motion. All kinds of things can happen. And I think that you just have to, yes, I have like 25 years experience or whatever it is or close to that. And it's just, I just like what I see. I'm not crazy. I don't think.
Yeah. I want to follow up on that real quick. This weekend, a lot of media members are just going to be excited to rub shoulders with some of these college coaches or next week at TABC. Hopefully, multiple media members are coming in to work just like we are. We're established company. We have established relationships, but we're not just going to go sit on courts and watch the top players all weekend long and just be yes men to these college coaches. If you're really trying to advocate, try to advocate for every level. Obviously, it's going to be fun to see some of the matchups the ABC has done. It's going to be fun to see the highest rated prospects in our state. But like, if you're really trying to grow your brand individually in a media and as an evaluator, be be don't be afraid to take a risk. And I'm not saying Miller Mask is a risk, but when you're talking about a kid that's not a varsity player, the way Blue wants to advocate and go to bat, he's not afraid to miss on a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And the best thing you can do is hear it from the college coach you have a relationship with, because that's how you get better as an evaluator. Leave your ego to the side. If that coach in that level says he's good enough, then he's good enough. If they say he's not, then okay, you go back to the drawing board and you find the level that you can advocate for. I know a lot of these new media members are going to be excited to go see these high major coaches that are on TV, but you're not doing a service for the state the way you say you think you are when you're going to these events. So I'm glad that Blue is going out and advocating for guys like that, whether they're ready or not. And
Facts.
for me, my name, unfortunately, is a guy that's in our top 10 that everybody's going to be going to watch. So I need to take some of my own medicine, I guess. But Isaiah Santos, Katie Seven Lakes, just feels so underrated every single time. He's not going to overly wow you with his physicality's there, but the measurables, the length, the size. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the fastest guy, the most explosive guy. But dang, like when you're talking, my favorite word's undeniable. And when you're talking about a guy that can be a high major cat, gun to my head, there's not another prospect in the state that I'm going to be like, oh, he's going to disappear in this moment. Every single game he's going to be around doing something that affects winning for any college that's going to be out there watching. So, yeah, he's in our top 10, so it's a little bit of a low-hanging fruit. But I don't think he's blown up to the level that he's going to. And after seeing what he did in Bryan at our GASO, I mean, who knows what we're going to be saying about him after TABC.
I don't think that's a crazy call at all, dude. Like, I feel like last year as a sophomore, he had to learn how to be the leader. AJ Bates and Nas Price left. Like, he was thrust into a role as a sophomore to be the guy at Katie Seven Lakes, and he had to learn how to do that. And now he's comfortable. Look out. If I'm with you, dude, if there's one player and I need a win, I'm not looking further than Isaiah Santos, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, and you're right, because I was at one of the early tournaments of the season last year, and I picked up the phone and I called the three of y'all. I said, hey, where is he going to fit in? Like, it was something that had to be learned, even though that he's been in a great Katie Seven Lakes program with a lot of wins under their belt over the past 10, 15 years. But Santos had to, like you said, that's the best way to put it. He had to learn to take on that role of the leadership. The things that he does, you can't measure. You can't. There's going to be a time that where the loose ball on the floor, he's going to go dive on that floor and go get it. And guess what? That's the winning play, because he was willing to sacrifice, and that's what he does. And I think he's a specialist, and he's also one of those guys that where you got to really look past and get deep down into like the heart of who he is and the character and what he brings to that court. Because even though you said, oh, it's low hanging fruit, I don't know if it is, Michael, because you have to really see the experience and go, yes, this is what every winning team has. Look at Houston and what they've done over the last few years with guys that are just winners.
Yep.
Lyndon?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jadarian Williams. I just feel like, Bel Air the last few years, it has been Shelton Henderson, LJ. Think back to last year at TABC, where they were, two of the biggest shows out there. I mean, like everybody, every media outlet, every national guy who came in, every college coach raving about them. That's where Shelton really started to blow up going into his senior season. But Jadarian is not just a random whippersnapper. He's just not. He's been in these games. He's been in these moments. And I think that he's somebody who is ready to step in and get the keys for a Bel Air program that's been, one of the best in Houston for the last 10 years almost,
He's great. He's a winner.
Yep.
Plays super hard. He always has an edge. That's an easy one to send a college coach to, because, like, at the very minimum, you're getting a kid that's going balls to the walls, playing hard, being tough, so on and so forth. I'm going to go with Jacorian Lincoln at Humble. He just secured a Texas A&M Corpus Christi offer, and when the motor's running hot, there's not a lot more talented than that kid. Ja'Cory has size, he can score, really good rebounder, and just moves right, has the physical tools to really take a step up in kind of that next realm of prospect. Lyndon, that's a guy that you and I have been bullish on for better part of a year now, and I'm glad to see that it's coming to fruition for him because he's a name that I'm going to be circling. He'll be on Mass's recommended list for sure. I really, really like watching Ja'Cory. Well, we do have a GASO this weekend. That is loaded. So let's get to it. Who's a player making their GASO debut in June that you cannot wait to see? And there are a lot to choose from. I'm fired up for this weekend. Blue, who's that guy?
I think they've made an appearance before in GASO, but the one person that I need to go watch is Isaiah Mayfield from Team Buckets out of Tyler Chapel Hill. And, he's a player that just takes advantage of his size over if somebody else smaller or is going to try to guard him. Like, he'll take advantage of you. He's a guy that just scores around the basket. He gets up and down the floor. He's a guy that takes up a lot of space, and he does a lot of tricky little things out there that just like you go, oh wow, wait a minute, did he just really do that? Because he's not this just quick twitch guy off the floor as a big, but he does some things that really surprise you and then makes you do that double take and you want to see it again. And he can go over his shoulder and go score. He's going to rebound. He's going to run the floor. He's always ready for a pass because when he's playing with his guards, they're fast and they just get him the ball and zip it to him and he can catch and finish. And so he's got a lot of potential there. And I think that I'm ready to see him and see where his level's going.
Mike?
Yeah, for me, Jalen Germany, Fox Nation's coming to our event, so it's going to be a debut for that whole program. Excited. He was one of my favorite PGs in terms of the pace and feel as a youngster. Then he leaves the state, and now you're back. So I'm excited to see him in this setting at GASO before TABC because I know he's added tools to his game. I know he's just naturally gotten bigger as he's gotten older. So I'm excited to see what level he's taken, and I know he's been making some noise on the UA circuit. So I'm just excited to get my eyes on a lot of these prospects before we head into TABC because we'll all be making our individual lists. So it's good to see him in this setting. And I'm just excited for him to be back in the state of Texas because he has real game.
Love it. I'm going to go with Mac Martin. He's playing with ASAC 16U this weekend. Was playing with the hoops earlier in the summer, so I did get to catch him on Synergy a little bit. Long-range scorer, just one of my favorite players in the 27 class. He just makes basketball look fun and easy. He makes incredible plays left and right, and I hope he's bringing it this weekend because, I think he's still kind of a prospect, kind of like Ja'Cory Lincoln, who I just referred to. He's still got some room to grow, which is scary for a 6'5" scorer. So I cannot wait to watch him. Lyndon?
I'm going to go with Brady Willis. I mean, Texas Stars came to our San Antonio event, but correct me if I'm wrong. Did he miss it for prom or something like that? Is that malarkey or is that what we're talking about? Like,
they were limping along with injuries. I know that.
Injuries, prom, something like that. But anyways, watched a ton of the Katy ISD district in 6A on stream this year. And every time I tune into a Katy High game, Brady Willis consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. He's a punch card, 15 and 10, punch out. That kind of dude. And he's one that I really think college coaches at all levels should have on their radars going towards TABC. And we'll get a fresh update for you based on how he plays this weekend at Austin.
Love it. Let's talk about a potential matchup that we could see happening down the line in the brackets. I'm gonna tip this one off because I just I guess with my coaching background, I always look at like matchup, tropes of like what could happen here. And one that I'm looking at in the blue bracket, rhythm basketball versus IFN UAA, where I see the strengths of the bigs with rhythm and I see the strength of the guard with IFN. And I just love seeing those contradictory type matchups. So I wouldn't mind seeing that play out. There's a lot of really good teams in that blue bracket though. So I'm not sure if that will happen. This thing could break a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'll follow up real quick just because I think that Fox Nation in that game has a lot of bigs as well. And so, like, when you're looking at a team that talented, you have rhythm with Lance Johnson and Corbin Crocker that are ready to bang with anybody. So I'm excited to see that. You're right, the guards are there, but this is one of those teams. Rhythm has won a championship, And I hope a team like Rhythm gets a chance to take on. That's what we love about GASOs, when the independents and the shoe teams collide. And they've earned that right. So, but once again, as we talk about these matchups, you got to win your basketball games to be able to have any matchup that's on the board potentially. So good luck to those teams as they navigate the bracket. And if it happens, hey, I think it's going to be really good, a really good situation.
Lindo?
Yeah, I'll look at the other side of that bracket because in my mind it is Houston Hoops, Syntex Miller versus the field right now, and they're doing that of their own accord. They're undefeated in GASOs. Going to have a huge target on their back because it's not easy for them. Like right out the gate, playing a tough game, they'll get the winner of Texas Stars and go get it. Texas hard work with Damon Ramirez lurking on their side of the bracket. I mean, this is a pretty loaded field right here, but that's the team I'd kind of highlight to say, you know what, if they can continue this trend and stay undefeated and win their third GASO of the summer, then okay, then it's for real,
And I'll say this, and if they get it done, regardless if they get it done or not, we haven't hinted at who's going to be at our pre-live showcase. But y'all want to come up I-35 a little bit, I got something for you. Let's just say that. We got something for you.
It might be too late for that because it's
my bad, Blue. We're full.
We're gonna have to come down the street to my house and play 3-on-3 or something.
That's a flex. You got a full court at your backyard, right?
No. We're the 3-point line stops. So
Love it. Hey, thanks for tuning into this this brouhaha. We enjoyed it. We will see you next time on the GASOcast.